Claire Martinez settled into seat 14C, exhausted from 3 sleepless nights at her mother's bedside in the hospital. At 27, she had flown across the country on emergency notice, maxing out her credit card for the last-minute ticket. The doctor said her mother was stable now, but Claire's heart still carried the weight of those terrifying hours. She fastened her seatbelt and closed her eyes, hoping to steal a few hours of rest on the 6-hour flight home. The seat beside her remained empty as passengers filed past, and she silently hoped it would stay that way. Then someone stopped at row 14. "Excuse me, I believe that's my seat." Claire opened her eyes to see a man in his early 30s, wearing an expensive blue suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. He had the polished look of someone who lived in first class, but had somehow ended up back here with the regular passengers. "Of course," Claire said, standing to let him pass to the window seat. As the plane taxied down the runway, Claire leaned her head back and tried to find a position that didn't make her neck ache. She had been sleeping in a chair for 3 days, catching moments of rest between her mother's medications and the endless parade of nurses and doctors. Somewhere over Kansas, exhaustion finally overtook her anxiety, and Claire felt herself drifting off. Her head began to tilt, and in her sleep, she unconsciously leaned toward the stranger beside her. Marcus Bennett felt the gentle weight of his seatmate's head against his shoulder and froze. He had been reviewing quarterly reports on his tablet, preparing for tomorrow's board meeting where he would officially take over as CEO of his father's company. At 32, he had spent his entire life preparing for this moment, sacrificing relationships and personal time to prove he was worthy of the legacy. His first instinct was to shift away, to wake her politely and reclaim his personal space. He had work to do, decisions to make, numbers to analyze, but something stopped him. He looked down at the young woman sleeping against his shoulder and noticed the exhaustion etched in her face, the shadows under her eyes, the hospital bracelet still on her wrist that she had apparently forgotten to remove. Her clothes, while clean, were wrinkled, and her carry-on bag had a tag from a hospital gift shop visible in the overhead bin. Marcus thought of his own mother, who had been ill when he was in college. He remembered those endless nights in hospital waiting rooms, the fear that sat like a stone in his chest, the exhaustion that went deeper than physical tiredness. He set down his tablet and carefully adjusted his position to give her a more comfortable resting place. Then he sat very still, staring out the window at the clouds below, his quarterly reports forgotten. An hour passed, then another. The flight attendants came by with drinks and snacks, and Marcus quietly waved them away, not wanting to disturb Claire's sleep. His shoulder began to ache, then went numb, but he didn't move. He had nowhere more important to be than right here, letting a stranger rest. When turbulence jolted the plane, Claire woke suddenly, disoriented. It took her a moment to realize where she was, and then horror flooded her face as she understood she had been sleeping on a stranger's shoulder. "Oh my God," she said, sitting up quickly. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep on you. That's so embarrassing." Marcus smiled gently. "Please don't apologize. You clearly needed the rest." Claire's cheeks burned red. "Still, that was incredibly rude of me. You must think I'm dash. I think you're someone who's been through something difficult," Marcus said quietly. Hospital bracelet, 3-day wrinkled clothes, eyes that have cried recently. Someone you love has been sick. Claire's eyes filled with tears. "My mother, she had a heart attack. I flew out to be with her. She's stable now, but Dash," her voice broke. "But you're still scared," Marcus finished gently. "Of course you are. How long were you at the hospital?" 3 days without really sleeping. I couldn't leave her. What if something happened and I wasn't there? Marcus nodded. "When my mother was sick, I slept in a chair beside her bed for 2 weeks. The nurses kept trying to send me home, but I couldn't leave her either. I understand." Something in his tone told Claire he really did understand. Is your mother okay now? She recovered fully. That was 10 years ago. She gardens now and complains that I work too much. He smiled. She's probably right. Claire managed a small laugh. I'm Claire, by the way. And again, I'm really sorry about falling asleep on you. I'm Marcus. And please stop apologizing. My shoulder is honored to have been of service. His eyes were kind, and Claire felt some of the tension leave her body. They talked for the rest of the flight. Marcus told her about his mother's illness, about learning that all the success in the world meant nothing if you couldn't be present for the people you loved. Claire talked about her mother, about the fear of losing her, about trying to be strong when she felt like falling apart. I'm supposed to start a new job next week, Claire said, but I don't know how I can leave my mom alone again so soon. She lives by herself, and what if she needs help? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Can I share something my mother told me? She said the greatest gift we can give the people who love us is to live our own lives fully, not to put our dreams on hold out of fear, because that would break their hearts more than anything else. He paused. Your mother would want you to take that job, Claire. She'd want you to build your life, and you can still be there for her while doing that. How do you balance it? Claire asked, being there for people while still pursuing your own path? Imperfectly, Marcus admitted. I'm still learning, but I'm trying to remember that being present doesn't always mean being physically present. It means showing up emotionally, being honest, making time for what matters even when it's inconvenient. He gestured to his abandoned tablet. I had work I was supposed to do on this flight. Important work for a big meeting tomorrow. But you needed rest, and somehow, sitting still for once in my life and letting you sleep felt more important than any quarterly report. Claire felt tears slip down her cheeks. Thank you for that and for understanding. When the plane landed, Marcus helped Claire retrieve her bag from the overhead bin. As they walked through the terminal, he stopped and pulled out a business card. This is going to sound strange, he said, but my mother runs a caregiver support network. It's for people who are caring for ill family members. They provide resources, emotional support, even practical help like grocery delivery or transportation to medical appointments. I think it might help you. He wrote something on the back of the card. That's my personal number. If your mother needs anything, if you need anything, please call. I mean that. Claire looked at the card, then at Marcus. You don't even know me. Why would you do this? Because someone did it for me once, Marcus said simply. When my mother was sick, a stranger at the hospital gave my father's phone number and said to call if we needed anything. We never did call, but just knowing someone cared, that we weren't alone, it meant everything. He smiled. Pay it forward someday when you see someone who needs help. 6 months later, Claire started volunteering with the caregiver support.